The problem with Hong Kong, though, even before the completely unexpected shock of the coronavirus, the city had already been dealing with its fair share of issues with the months of ongoing, street protests and unrest. So is there a concern that fundamentally we won't see a revival in Hong Kong the same way that we might eventually see a rebound in other economies?
If you were being particularly pessimistic, then yes, I guess you could take that view. I mean, certainly the second half of 2019, the exhibition industries were hit a little bit, the international ones. The average attendances dropped by around about 20%. So there was some impact from that. But look, I mean, I think that I prefer to be positive. I think once in Hong Kong we get past the LegCo elections, which take place in September, then actually we'll have new people in government, and the people of Hong Kong will want to get back to business and want to try and recover as best they can from the economy. I think what we saw post-SARS in 2003 was a really strong surge of people who actually had gone through a really tough time and wanted to get out there and spend money and meet and connect with people. And I was speaking with a behavioural psychologist, Dr. Richard Clayton, yesterday, and he was saying that actually there's a lot of evidence to suggest that people will want to spend a lot more time with each other after isolation. And that, in fact, companies will want to collaborate perhaps a lot more rather than compete than they did in the past. And this is, this plays into where conventions and exhibitions really excel.
So tell us a little bit about your market in Hong Kong. What industries usually exhibit there?
Well, look, Hong Kong, it's very high-end exhibitions in terms of the. So we are the world leaders in things like beauty and cosmetics, wines and spirits, electronics, gifts and premiums. We don't have a heavy manufacturing base in Hong Kong, so we don't have big machinery shows, which typically in the region take place in China. But we do have very high-end. I mean, don't forget, Hong Kong is obviously a free port. So, we can bring goods in without having to pay any duty on them, which lends itself very well to things like jewellery and arts and fine wines, etc., which you wouldn't be able to show in China because of the duties.
Given the protests that we talked about, the slowing economy in Hong Kong, not to mention these opening measures that we're seeing in mainland China, what role can Hong Kong really play in the long term as a center for these exhibitions and conventions?
Look, the key fundamentals that make Hong Kong such a fantastic MICE destination haven't changed. Yes, we've been hit by a flock of black swans, if you like, with the social unrest and the coronavirus, etc. But I still think that fundamentally, what underpins Hong Kong still exists. We've got a fantastic transport hub, one of the best airports in the world. We have visa-free access for 170 nations. I've mentioned that we are a free port, and it's a really exciting, dynamic city. So, look, I do see a time when we can get past some of these hurdles, and actually we can see an opportunity that the events and exhibitions industry will bounce back strongly, as long as we are taking care of the fundamentals and we don't see more of these unpredictable events taking place here in Hong Kong.